After last weekend's magnificent Melrose Sevens tournament, we're back with some more Sevens for you, including the Hawick and Berwick tournaments over the weekend. We've also got Cup action, Selkirk involved, trying to get through to the semi-final of the Cup. And right here at the Gates, we have Peebles against Kelso in Premier 2. Welcome to Borders Rugby Roundup, and let's begin with the Scottish Hydroelectric Cup. Melrose, the holders, against Scottish champions Ayr. It took place at the Green Yards, and watching it for us was Laing Speirs.
Penalty goals made up most of the points. There were 9 of them in all, but it's tries that count, and Melrose scored 2 beauties. Callum Anderson and Jordan Macy latched on to kicks from their forwards deep to the corner, and the tries resulted. This was the difference between the two teams. Melrose were a lot more lively, a bit more imaginative, and apart from a brief period in the second half, the forwards were in control. Melrose are not going to give up that cup without the opposition, whomever it comes, finding something very special.
Staying in the Cup, and Selkirk were playing Edinburgh Academicals at Philiphaugh. Could they extend that unbeaten home record yet again? It was a big night for Martin Murray, who was playing his final first 15 game at Philiphaugh before stepping down from Premiership rugby after 250 games for the club. It was Selkirk's final home game of the season, and they were looking to make it 26 home wins in a row against Edinburgh Accies in the quarter-final of the Scottish Hydroelectric Cup. And they couldn't have got off to a better start. With just a minute on the clock, Alex Dunbar crashed into the opposition and set up good second phase possession for Gavin Craig to use. He passed to Ross Armstrong, who threw the sweetest of dummies and dived over for the perfect opening and nailed the touchline conversion for a 7-0 lead. But the next 21 points would all go Edinburgh Accies' way, starting with a try out wide from Matt Cooper, who beat off 4 defenders to dive over. Mike Campbell converted and then kicked 3 penalties, this being one of them, to take full advantage of a high penalty count against Selkirk. And things got even worse when Selkirk conceded the softest of tries, with hooker Mark Price literally strolling over the line to touchdown. But right on the interval, the home side snatched a lifeline, driving up to the Accies line and putting them under pressure. Eddie Gaucher took the scoring pass from Fraser Jack and didn't need to do too much work to pop over for a try. Ross Armstrong's conversion was good, and Selkirk were back in the game as they turned round 7 points adrift. It was a much better second-half performance from Selkirk, but when Alex Dunbar's chip didn't go where he planned, flanker Tom Drennan picked up the ball, saw the gap and pinned back his ears to race 60 metres to score under the posts. Campbell kicked the 2 points, and that 14-point gap had opened up again. But Selkirk are known for their comebacks, and just before the end, Fraser Harkness displayed some of his individual brilliance to create a scoring chance, and his kick and chase was decisive as he went over for his team's 3rd try. Scott Hendry slotted the conversion, but it was all too late to rescue the match. And when the final whistle blew, Selkirk tasted defeat at home for the first time since September the 1st, 2007. In the Shield, both Peebles and Jed Forest won their home games against Glasgow Accies and Falkirk respectively, while in the Plate, Hoyt-Lindeen and Duns are still on track for Murrayfield. Gallow IM and St Boswell's scored wins in East League 2, with St Boswell's overtaking Earlston as top Border team in that division. At Mansfield Park, Hawick were out to retain their own Sevens title, and once again they made it through to the final, beating Peebles in the quarters and Watsonians in the semi. Their opponents would be Selkirk in a repeat of last year's final. Selkirk whipped West of Scotland and came from behind to beat Gala en route to take on Hawick. It was the Greens who went into an early 12-0 lead with tries from John Coots and this one from Scotland Sevens international Graham Hogg, but it was made by Ryan Hogg, who enjoyed a little game of cat and mouse with Fraser Harkness before shipping the ball out. Selkirk hit back with a well-worked try made by Fraser Harkness, but finished by Eddie Gaucher. But good work from Bruce McNeill gave Kevin Reid the opportunity to send Hawick into the break, 17-7 up. In the second half it was another Graham Hogg try, which inflicted more damage on the suitors. But Selkirk fought back again with another score, this time Jason Hendry putting away Rory Aglen. It was wrapped up for Hawick though by surely one of the stars of the future, young Glyn Desport breaking clear to seal it, and Hawick deservedly running out winners by 29 points to 14.
We've been pulled for pillar to post this year and everybody's written off. And everybody's written off what Hawick means to a lot of people, but if you have a look down here today, this club will be big for a long time to go yet.
The next day over at Scremerston, the Salmon Inn Berwick Sevens took place, with Kelso attempting to keep the silverware at Poynter Park for another year. But when they went out to Melrose in the quarter-final, it was all about whose name would be added to the trophy for 2009. Melrose went on to clinch their place in the final with a semi-win over Hawick by 14-12, and they'd be up against Watsonians, who defeated Jed and Selkirk on their way to meet Melrose. Watsonians' last four outings in the Kings of the Sevens had all ended with semi-final defeats, so the Edinburgh side were delighted to make this final. And they didn't hang about either, scoring 5 unanswered tries to race into a 29-0 lead, with 2 tries from Mike Kerr and 1 each from Mike Feddo, Grant Somerville and this one from Richard Minto. Melrose then responded with 17 points of their own, both sides of the break, scoring tries from Graham Dodds, David Whiteford and this effort from Chris Hardy. But when Mike Feddo scored a second try, Watsonians were just about home and dry. Stuart Johnson came off the bench to give Melrose some hope with a try quickly converted by Scott White. But Jamie Blackwood went over for the decisive score to give his team the trophy, which they won back in 2007. Final score, Watsonians 39, Melrose 24, and Watsonians are top of the table.
Yeah, top of the table. One of the reporters just told me that, and that's good, and I think it'll be a close run thing. It's 5 tournaments left, 6 tournaments left, so it'll be all to play for. Looking forward to it next weekend. Hope the weather stays like this. It'll all be good sevens.
And you can watch extended highlights of both tournaments at our Sevens page at bordersrugby.net. But finally today, as far as action's concerned, the Premier 2 clash involving Peebles and also Kelso. Although promotion to Premier 1 was not possible, Peebles could still end the night and their league season by becoming top attacking and defensive border side in Premier 2. And early on they went for it big time, with Ryan McConnell breaking up the park to put David Harvey away in the corner for what looked like a superb try. But the referee was right there to say he knocked it on over the try line, and the replay showed he was spot on. A Kieran Wilkinson penalty gave Kelso the lead, but Dan Boltwood equalised with this effort. The first try came when Peebles forwards drove over to give Adam Clark the touchdown. And it wasn't long before Trevor Keane spun over, following a tap penalty, with Boltwood converting to give the home team a 15-3 lead at the break. Kelso's centre Dominic Buckley created a try out of nothing early in the second period to beat 5 soft tackles and score a try, which was converted. But Peebles bounced back following a Dan Boltwood kick ahead, which Kelso couldn't control. A hack-on was collected by James Oakes and with good support from his teammates got closer to the line, and there was scrum half Drew Moore to take the scoring pass and get his first league try of the season. Boltwood didn't convert but scored a penalty to make it 23-10, but Kelso came back to score a pushover try from Stuart Lowry, and Wilkinson did well to bag the extras from the touchline to get to within 6 points of Peebles. With time running out, Andy Tate couldn't get his kick away and Ryan McConnell pounced on the ball to give Peebles the win by 28 points to 17. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for joining us on what's been a packed programme. But next week we're back here again at the Gates for the Peebles Sevens. Join us then.